So we are often told that it is important to budget, that we should budget each and every month. And I also speak about this. I also always emphasize this, whenever I'm having one-on-one consultation calls. This is something that I will hammer on. It's something that I also do speak about a lot here on this channel. There are many reasons why you should budget, but today I want to share with you why, for me, I budget. I think that once you start personalizing it and once you understand what is your why, the drive to do it becomes clear, and you keep going, you keep being consistent with that because you understand why. It's like when you tell a child, do not do something, but then you don't tell them why, they will keep doing it because they don't understand why is it that they shouldn't do it. And so for me, it has always been important to understand my why in everything that I do, especially things that are important to me. So I want to first, before we get into my monthly reset, which is something that we are doing today, basically, I want to first share with you why it's so important for me to budget. So for me, it is important to budget because it gives me control over my money. It gives me an understanding of what is coming in, what is expected to go out, and where it's expected to go out. And someone may be asking, okay, well, I can do that from the top of my mind. But when you don't have it written down, it is very difficult to track back and see, did you really spend according to plan? Yes, you can go to your bank statement. Yes, I can easily go to my bank and check where is it that my money went. But it becomes hard for me to be accountable and take corrective actions when I never set a plan in the first place, when I never had an intention in the first place to say that this is how I want to spend my money, or this is where I see my money going. So for me, that is why I set a budget. It allows me to have control over my finances and not my money to have control over me. For me, I want to always be a step ahead when it comes to my finances and not my money to always have an upper hand when it comes to what is it that I want to do and how I do it. So for me, a budget, it is that important. That is why I continue to budget each and every month. It gives me a clear understanding of what is happening on my finances, but also it allows me to set an intention, follow up on that intention, and then most importantly, be able to track if I was able to achieve the things that I said that I want to achieve. So that is why I budget. So I want you to take the time to also think of why is it important for you to budget. Maybe if you're someone that has never really budgeted before, it's someone that has never really thought of it as something that is important, I want you to take the time to actually think, why is it important for you to budget? Why do you budget? And if you don't budget, ask yourself also, why is it that you don't budget? Because maybe you might find that it is stemming from trauma, also some issues, maybe it might be stemming from the issue of feeling like if you budget, then you're not going to have control. It might be stemming from a lot of things, but you will not know until you sit down and actually look at why is it that you choose not to budget. Because if you're not budgeting, it's because you choose not to budget. So there should be a reason, why is it that you choose not to budget? And also, if you are not budgeting, is it helping you? Is it really allowing you to have a full understanding of where is your money going? And if it doesn't help you, then it's time for you to really consider budgeting. So with that being said, let us get into my monthly reset for the month of April. First things first, before we get into that, you might be wondering, who is this? Why should I be even listening to this person? So my name is Jennifer Nxumalo. I'm a content creator. I also work full-time. I also run my business. I create content largely on finances, career growth, as well as lifestyle. So when it comes to the content that I create, it is not so much so stemming from an expert point of view, but it's stemming from practical experience point of view, from someone that has went from being over indebted, struggling to meet her monthly needs, and then to now being able to meet my monthly needs without having to worry, without having to be stressed, and also being able to take care of myself financially and also not being over indebted. Those I feel like a big milestone in terms of my finances. And so from that experience of transforming from that person to the person that I am today, I share my journey, I share my knowledge, I also share things that I feel like have helped me. Now, it is up to you whether you want to take those things or not. So everything that I say, please take it with a grain of salt, because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just Jen on the blog who is here to share her journey when it comes to personal finances, and with hopes that it inspires you to be intentional with your finances. I feel like we learn a lot from people sharing their own journey and their experience than anywhere else. We learn more in practical lived experiences, when you hear other people's stories, when you see the transformation that people have went through because of the changes that they've placed in their lives, then we start appreciating those things. There's a reason why I share the content that I share. Even when it comes to my career growth, it all stems from experience. It all stems from the things that I've went through, the things that I've learned, that I've found myself today, that have put me to where I am today. And I'm hoping that when I share my story, that it inspires you, that it ignites you, that it wakes you up, it gives you the drive to want to just, get up and keep going. So with that being said, now that you know who I am, let us get into today's video. So as I said, we are going to be doing my monthly resets. I'm not going to spend a lot of time speaking about my reset this time around, because there's really not much that I want us to look at. Just the few things that I want us to look at. First, I want us to review March. Just look at how did it go. Firstly, March for me was just a month. I feel like I've been on autopilot for a while now, because even now when I look back, I always take time to look back at my previous months, guys. I feel like I've been on autopilot for a longest time. Even now, I'm still on autopilot. It hasn't been an easy few months. Even the month of March hasn't been an easy month. But I've also noticed that I've also grown in certain aspects of my life, which is something that I truly appreciate. So when it comes to March, I would just say that it was just a weird month. So we're going to go to my journal, which is this journal right here. This is the Evercent Financial Journal. And by the way, we also do have the black color in this, and we will be having a special in the month of April for all the journals that have imperfections. This is something that I've shared before, but if you are new in this video and you didn't know, this is the journal that I designed. This is my brand. This is a journal that I designed. Every spread that is in here, it's something that I developed from my experience on just knowing what is it that really works when it comes to budgeting, but also taking the time to ask the people that bought the journals last year to say, what is it that worked for you, what is it that didn't work, and then I infused those ideas into these copyright here. So there's a black one and then there's this one. So I want us to look at my review, because each and every month we get the opportunity to review the month and just see how did it go before we plan for the new month. Okay, so we're gonna go into my money check-in. So there are prompts right here, you see there. So there are several prompts that we're going to go through, and then we're going to respond as we go. So the first one is, was my budget met, yes or no? If not, what took me off budget? I would say that my budget was met. There really wasn't much that took me off budget. And then, what did I do well this month? When it comes to my finances, I wouldn't say that there's anything that stood out for me to say that I did this well. The next prompt is, how do I feel about my finances this month? I feel good. In terms of March and how it went, I feel good. The things that I wanted to achieve, like in terms of my goals, I was able to do that. I wanted to just save as much as possible, so I was able to do that. So I feel good about my finances in the month of March. What part of my finances will I improve next month? There's really not much. There really isn't anything that I would say I want to improve, because there wasn't anything that I would say went south when it comes to the way that I manage my finances. Okay. And then monthly reflection, 3 things that I'm grateful for this month. Firstly, I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful to be alive and healthy. I'm also grateful for the opportunities that have been coming my way, Let me leave it there. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for the opportunities that have came my way. And then this month's challenges, if any. Geez, there's been too many challenges, but not like my finances, just, career-wise, jobs, stressy, it's just been a lot when it comes to the challenges in the month of March. Something that I don't really want to get into here on my videos, because it has nothing to do with my finances. And it's something that also it wouldn't help you in any way for me to share that, but it hasn't been an easy month. But for the fact that I'm still alive, no more usahlangene nenyama. That is the most important thing. And then this month I learned, you know what, this one is very difficult. I will have to really think, Kuguti, like, what is it that I would say I learned? Okay, I think the biggest one is that I learned that God is always listening. And I'm going to leave it at that. I learned that God is always listening. Yeah. And then next month I will focus on really, oh yeah, I do know what I want to focus on next month. I want to really focus on my business. Like in the month of April, I want to focus my time and energy on my business. I'm exhausted, if I'm being honest. I'm just tired. Really, really tired. Even when I say I want to do something, it's been very difficult for me to actually be accountable and actually do that thing. And it has shown me that it's because I'm exhausted, I've been on autopilot for a long time. And now I feel like I'm just in a rest mode. But at the same time, there's so much that I want to do. So there's so much that I want to do when it comes to my business. As you know, that I said I want to open up for the sales for the journals. For all the journals that have imperfections, I'm going to be opening up for the sales soon in the month of April. So do look out for that. And as I said, I will be sending out emails to everyone that is on my email list to say that you can shop so that they are able to buy. And then I also do want to release the workshop for anyone that is trying to secure a job, particularly in the public sector, because that is where I feel like my experience as well as my career is at, and my knowledge as well in terms of the recruitment process. It's more so on the public sector, not so much so on the private sector. So for people that have been, that do want to grow in their career, that do want to get internships, that do want to get more than just internships, that have been applying but hearing nothing, this workshop is really tailored for you guys so that you get an understanding of the recruitment processes in the public sector and the things that you really should be thinking about whenever you are sending out your CV, so that your CV is aligned to the positions that you want. And it also gives you an upper hand in terms of increasing the opportunities for you to being shortlisted for that position, for those positions that you do want. I've had great results or great feedback from people that I've edited CVs for, where they've shared that after I've edited their CVs and when they've put them out for applying, they have been shortlisted for several positions, to a point whereby some people have been appointed in those positions. So for me, that was affirmation to say that whatever that I'm doing whenever I'm editing CV is really working. So I want this workshop to be that much empowering in terms of giving you the information that will allow you that every time you're applying, you think of these things, so that you always make sure that your CV stands out and you increase your chances of being called for an interview. But beyond being called for an interview, you're also able to sit in front of that panel and express yourself, so that you are able to secure the job itself. So the workshop is going to be a 4-week workshop. It's not just going to be online. Yes, there will be online lessons each and every week where we are going to be looking at a specific topic, and then we're going to go over it in that lesson. But we're also going to have a live cohort where each and every week we're going to join a live session where you can ask questions in terms of the lessons in terms of the lesson that we had in that week. Any questions that you may be having, there will be the opportunity for you to be able to hammer down in all of those questions that you've been having, maybe the confusion that you have been having all along. So it's going to be a packed workshop. As I said, it's going to be a 4-week workshop with 4 lessons as well as live sessions for each and every week. That way I know that by the time we're done, I've given you the knowledge that will allow you to be able to go out there and be able to represent yourself well when it comes to the applications that you send out. So that is what I want to focus on in the month of April. I've said a mouthful, right? So let's go on and look at my goals for the month of April. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been really having a challenge when it comes to setting goals. Beginning of the year, I was very clear in terms of these are the things that I want to work on. But because my goals are not so much so something that I have to do each and every month, but rather quarterly goals, it has been difficult for me to sit down and say, oh, this is what I want to work on. But also because I've been on autopilot for a long time, having goals is something that has been difficult for me to just say, okay, this month, this is what I want to focus on. It has really, really been difficult. And not that to say now, just because I haven't been able to set goals, that means that I'm just walking around without any intention. No, I still have an intention. I still have a plan in terms of what is it that I want to do in that day. But in terms of in that month, what is it that I want to do? I honestly it has been hard for me to think that far. So when it comes to goals this month, I'm going to be honest with myself. I'm not going to have any action items this month. especially when it comes to my finances, I would rather have action items when it comes to my business. And I think I've shared with you when I said these are things that I want to focus on this month in terms of my business. Those are going to be my action items. If I can tick two of those things, which is put my journals for sale, as well as also release the workshop, that for me would be enough in terms of what is it that I was able to achieve this month. Then I will know that, you know what, I was successful in my I was successful or not successful. If I don't tick those things, then I can say it's okay, Jen, you really have to work harder, because it can't be that you are not able to do these things. I also have also realized that I really want to focus more on building my business, you guys. Like, there's so much potential in my business, and I want to hone in that. I want to build that so that it is a self-sustaining type of a business. My business does not cost a lot in terms of running, in terms of the operational cost, but I do want to make sure that I focus my attention or my energy in just building it and relying less on sponsorships. I've realized that I don't like working with brands. I just don't enjoy it. Every time when I work with brands, it's always nice to get approached. It's always nice when you get paid, but the working with brands is never nice. And it's not the first time that I've shared this. I've shared this even sometime this year, or maybe last year. It is not nice working with brands because they're very specific in terms of what they want. Sometimes it does not even matter whether it aligns with you or not. So I want to rely less. I've never really relied on brands because it's not like I get a lot of them, but I don't really have a desire to work with a lot of brands. I just don't. I do have a desire to grow my business. I do have a desire to allow my business to be sustainable and to make money, and I'm not ashamed to own up to the fact that I want my business to make money. I'm highly motivated by money, and that is something that I'm not ashamed to say. Highly, highly motivated by money. Everything that I do, especially the reason why I wake up each and every day to go to work, is because I want to get paid. And the reason why I really work so hard when I really push my business is because I want my business to make money. But the most important thing is that as my business is making money, I want to make sure that I'm having an impact. I want to make sure that I'm changing someone's life. I don't just want to make money, but I want to make sure that I'm changing someone's lives and I'm having an impact with my business. In turn, I will then reap the benefits of that. So I really want to grow my business and work less and less with brands as much as possible. I would love that. Really, really love that. Okay, so now when it comes to my budget, we're gonna go talk over my budget just to show you that these are the things that I'm planning to. This is how my budget is going to look like in the month of April. Now, one thing I've realized, guys, when it comes to a budget is that nothing is set in stone. That is why in my budget, I've got an expected and then I've got actual. I can set something in an expected column, right? And say, this is what I want to do. But then the things that may come, that may derail me, as a result, I may not be able to stick to my budget, or I may not be able to do that thing because now I've had to reprioritize or shift things and put other things. So I know that as much as I set my budget each and every month, it is not set in stone. There is also another thing that you always have to remember, especially for people that find it difficult to budget. It does not have to be set in stone. This is your plan, which means that it can change based on your life and the circumstances that you're faced with at that time. The most important thing is understanding that it is a flexible plan that you can shift and change based on what is it that you have to deal with in that month. So I'm going to take you through what is it that I'm expecting to spend on, things that I'm planning to spend on, and then we're going to see as we go in the month when I start getting paid, if those things are actually going to happen. Come closer, let's look at my budget. So I'm going to quickly talk you through my budget right here. When it comes to my income, I've got my work, YouTube, business income. So altogether, I'm going to put the amount here. I think altogether it's going to be 35,736. Okay, so altogether it's going to, I think it's going to be, I'm expecting that it's going to be that much. I've already filled my spreadsheet on my laptop right here because I do have an income tracking spreadsheet. So from there, I think this is how much I'm likely to get paid, all of these things combined. And then I have my other income, which is going to be 4,000. So my total income for the month of March is likely to be 39,736. Okay, so then let's get into my savings. My savings for this month, the first one is I need to save for all my functions that I need to go and do at home. So one of them is umemulo. So I'm putting away, I want to put away 10,000 this month. Last month I did put away 10,000. So if I put away 10,000 in the month of April, it's going to be 20,000 that I'm going to have so far. The goal is to have 40,000. Okay, and then I'm gonna put money away on the education fund, which is 1,100. And by the way, I've paused putting money in my emergency fund because now I'm on another quarter and I'm focusing on another goal. So education fund is going to be 1,000. Stokvel is going to be 1,000. Umholiswane with my family is going to be 1,000. So these are my total savings, and then all together, let's see how much it's going to be. I think altogether is going to be 1, 2, 3, 13,100. Yeah, 13,100. Okay, and then I've got my debt, which is the MTN contract. The total is definitely going to be 1,560. Now let us look at my expenses right here. So when it comes to my expenses, I have my rent, the rent that we pay here. So I pay my portion, which is 7,950. The second one is that I have is the insurance. Now for the insurance is 1,400. So this is the car and home contents insurance, and then aftercare it's 730, and then weekly allowance I'm just still gonna put 5,000. Okay, and then funeral cover it is 500, and then we've got my life cover, which is 265, and then we've got rain, which is 570. So in total, how much is this? Let's see. So 7,950 plus 1,400 plus. So in total is going to be 16,415. Okay, and then now let us look at these expenses right here. So for these expenses right here, it's going to be my rent, my rates, levies, water and electricity. Altogether, I'm just budgeting 2,000. And then water and electricity for here, I'm budgeting 1,500. And then for petrol, I'm budgeting 2,500. And then for my birthday, this is my birthday is coming up in the month of May, beginning of May. So I need to save for it on in April. So for birthday, I'm putting 1,000 just for me to do my hair, honestly. And then for home and hopefully nails as well, maybe, I don't know, but hair, at least it must come out. And then for home, I'm putting 1,000. And then for charges, bank charges here, let's just say charges, and then let's say in brackets bank. So I'm putting away 300. So for both my banks, FNB and Capitec, which I highly use, I'm going to split it. It's going to be 150, 150, and then it'll cover the bank charges from both sides. And then I think I'm going to leave it there when it comes to my variable expenses. For now, let me just add everything up. 8,300. Okay, then let's come here to this page right here. So for my weekly allowance, the first one is going to be groceries, same thing here, groceries, petrol, and then petrol. Okay, so for here it's going to be, I'm going to put 1,500, then I'm going to put 1,000. I'm going to put 1,500 because now there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the last one is going to be 1,000. And then petrol, I'm going to put 1.5 which normally the car gets full by around 1.2, 1.3. The car does get full, so I'm just gonna budget 1,500, and then for filling up next time I'm gonna put in 1,000. Okay, so that covers me for my weekly allowance. This is my weekly allowance budget right here. Now when it comes to cash stuffing, I'll do that when it's time for me to do the cash stuffing part. I want us to come here and do the summary of this budget. So for the total income, we are looking at 39,736. Total savings, I'm looking at 13,100. Debts, it's 1,560. And then fixed expenses, it's 16,415, ne? And then that one is 8,300. 8,300. Now let's see whether I'm on a positive or a negative balance. So we're going to say this one minus this one, minus this one, minus this one, minus this one, then we'll see how much it is, ne? So we're likely to be left with 361, which is a positive balance. So that's good. This is my budget for the month of, let's write here, April. Okay, so that is what it looks like. Okay, now that we're done with my budget, let's get back to where we started this video. We've come to the end of this video. I'm really hoping that these videos, you guys, do inspire you to be intentional with your finances, to budget, especially for people that feel like there's no point in budgeting. Even if you feel like your salary is small, you still have to budget. And I really want to encourage you to make sure that when you budget, find yourself a notebook. You know, those 45 rands, 55 rands notebook, if you can't afford such, grab yourself a notebook. That way you're going to have everything in one book, and then you'll be able to go back and look at your spending in the previous months, you know, and take some corrective measures if there need be. But if you don't budget, if you don't have anything that is set that you will say that this is your book, it will become difficult for you to be able to track and improve over time. So as I said, these will be going for sale this month. The original price is 470, so they'll be coming down to 320 per copy. So I'm telling you so that you can start budgeting, start planning, so that by the time it goes up for sale, you know that you are ready for that. So as I said, it's going to be moving from 470 to 320 per copy, and it will be limited to only the copies that have imperfections. Then those are the ones that will be available for sale. As soon as they are finished, then they will be finished. You will then be able to buy it on the original price and not on the sale price. So as soon as it goes up for sale, I would really encourage you to act on it, because if you do miss out, then you would have missed out. What else did I want to say? I think that is it when it comes to this video. I really hope that you found this video valuable and insightful, and also an eye-opening in some way. I will see you on the next one. Please take care and stay safe. Bye.